Hello everyone, it's Sentinel Guides here. Today I'm here to show you a Deadlock lineup guide for Bind. Now Bind is one of Deadlock's strongest maps. A couple of pro teams such as Trace from China have been playing Deadlock on the map fairly often lately, and the reason for that is because when there's longer rotates like there are on this map, agents like Cypher or Killjoy aren't quite as necessary for holding down the flank, so Deadlock is able to shine with her unique strengths like the stuns that help hold hookah space, and the nets that help take early space on the attack side. This guide is going to give you some of the lineups that are relatively useful for taking early space on the map with Deadlock, as well as give you some context for when you would use it or what util should be paired with it. Now, one of the best places to take early control of on this map is Long B. The reason for that is if you can take Long B without giving up too much information yourself, it requires them to re-clear it with a lot of util. They can either use a flash, they can use a Sova drone, but either way, in order to make sure that you aren't hitting B, they're going to have to commit a lot of util, and even if you do end up taking Long B early in the round, if you have a lurk towards showers, you're able to very easily pivot off of B after you've taken it early. Now, one of the lineups that'll help you take Long B can be thrown starting from the spawn barrier here.
There.
If you line up with the spawn barrier here, and then line up the sort of dot above the C next to the net, with this sort of piece of metal right here.
With me.
And do a jump throw.
No escape.
It will land and cover all of Octagon. Additionally, if you'd like to take long control slightly later into the round, and let's say you've already defaulted towards A a little bit and you're coming back towards B, and the spawn barrier is no longer there, you're not doing it off of rip, you can stand in this corner right here, and line up the bar to the right of the sonic sensor, the left-hand side of that bar, with this part of the light fixture right here,
Over there.
like so, and do a standard toss with no jump. If you do this, it will land in just the exact same spot as the other lineup does. The reason these net lineups are pretty useful is because if you pair them with any piece of utility, like a Sky Flash or a Resonate or anything like that, anyone caught in the Octagon is pretty screwed, so they have to give up the space early round or swing out early to fight it. That means if you win this fight right here, you pretty much guarantee that you have long space, and then can either use it for an execute, or to TP, or to fake and take the space early and then immediately go back A while pulling rotates. It's pretty useful across the board. Now, if you want a slightly alternative lineup that you can use during faster hits that doesn't cover quite as much of Garden, but does cover this left corner during an execute of B if you're planning on going out immediately after taking the long section, you can stand in this corner and line that same right bar of the sonic sensor, left-hand side of it, up with this little section of the antenna right here, and do a jump throw.
Throwing net.
And while the net doesn't quite cover as much of Octagon, it doesn't completely clear it if someone's standing in the far corner, it does clear the close left corner on the execute out, which can be useful if you're going incredibly fast. If you want a net lineup that will help you take hookah instead of long, let's say you're all trying to float out of hookah instead of floating out of long, this lineup, done from the exact same spot as the other one, will let you net the left-hand side of hookah, which is pretty good for clearing it out, especially when paired with a Sky Flash, a Resonate, etc., the same things we were talking about earlier. If you stand in this corner, and instead of lining up with the dot on the C with this one right here, you line up the dot on the Q with the exact same spot,
no heroics.
And do a jump throw.
Net.
It will bounce off the top of the, I guess it's a water tower, or is that an antenna? I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it'll bounce off the top of it into hookah and clear the entire left-hand side of it, which again, when paired with any other piece of util, will kill anyone in that corner, even if they're using a shotgun. Finally, let's say you already have control of hookah or have control of long, and you want to throw a net for backsight, and you've already cleared most of hookah. This net is relatively useful because it keeps you close to your teammates, and also doesn't expose yourself to any angles on sight. If you stand right here, up against this guy right here, sort of this corner, and then throw your net as far to the right as you can, staring at this guy right here,
no escape.
It will net backsight for you, which can be used with a Brim ult or a Resonate to help you clear out the backsight and kill anyone playing in that spot. Another really important place to take control of on this map is U-Haul on A. And a lot of the time you're going to want to be throwing some sort of piece of util here during the execute to help your entry player either get a kill here or not have to worry about getting swung from here, right? So, I'm going to show you a net that clears pretty much all of U-Haul and also the close left corner right here.
Over there.
So if you stand in this corner right here up against
Over
this
there.
bag and this pot here, this spice pot, I guess, and then line up the right-click throw dot with this brick
Over
on the
there.
wall right here, and just do a standard throw.
Throwing net.
It will land perfectly in a spot that will clear both the close left corner and also a fair amount of U-Haul. It is worth noting that this brick in the wall, its visibility will change wildly depending on your graphic settings, but it's still visible on high, medium, and low material quality. It's just only a texture when you're on low material quality. However, even with that said, you should still be able to line up this
Over
corner
there.
of the brick with it
No escape.
and get the perfect net that you need for your execute. Let's say you're executing A and want your deadlock on the other side of short for the execute. There's another lineup you can do that starts against the spawn
Over
barrier
there.
right here. And you want to line up that same right-hand side of the sonic sensor, the bar there, the left-hand side of that bar, with this indent in the middle right
Over there.
here. And then if you do that,
Focus.
and do a jump throw,
No escape.
it will land pretty much in the exact same spot as the other lineup. Now this net is across the board pretty good because it lands
No
right
escape.
here. And the important part about that is even though it clears the left-hand side of this section right here, it also clears a lot of the inside of U-Haul as well, which is incredibly important because it means that, like, if it landed, say, right here,
No escape.
they would be able to reswing instantly and take the fight after the net lands. And also it means that if your Raze is, say, blast packing in to take U-Haul space, even if this guy isn't
Over
netted,
there.
they can also be
Over
netted
there.
in here, and your Raze should be able to get the kill. Same with a Sky Flash, if it's paired with that. Anyone netted inside of here will be screwed, or they have to give away their position, one or the other. And the reason it's really important to know that is because if you're free-handing a net, a lot of the time what's going to end up happening is you're going to throw it against this wall, it's going to bounce, and it's only going to clear the left-hand side, not inside of U-Haul through the wall, right? So there's a couple of ways that you can line it up during an execute outside of the spawn barrier one or the one over here.
Over
That's a
there.
little bit closer if you want to be part of the action during the execute. If you're all the way back here, standing against this corner, and throw it slightly below this dark line right here,
Over there. Throwing net.
it will land far enough away that it will cover most of U-Haul as well. And if you're all the way up here and ready to take fights with your team, you can toss it up against this dark
Over
section of the
there.
wall right here and throw it.
No escape.
And it will cover exactly where you need it to. Being this close means you can even help with the execute fights like immediately. You can toss this net and start taking fights out here. So it's just incredibly useful to know the heights you need to throw it to make sure you get the maximum value out of it depending on your distance. So I wanted to give you a net that helps you take showers. Now, the problem with that is showers, of course, has a roof. So finding a net that actually gets value inside of showers is pretty difficult. However, in exchange, I'm going to give you a net that helps you take showers but isn't necessarily part of the util taking showers. So let's say you have a Neon or a Raze ulting into showers to take all the space. This net will land right here
Over there.
and trap anyone trying to leave showers for a free kill whenever that player is running away from an ult, right? So that lineup can be done from this
Over
corner
there.
right here. It's another one of the spawn barrier lineups, and you want to line up the mouse on the right-click throw UI element with this
Over
post
there.
right here, like so.
I will not die today.
And then do a jump throw.
Throwing net.
And that will land and basically net anyone trying to leave showers. Alright, finally, I just wanted to give you one more lineup defensively. Now, the defensive lineups on this map aren't insane, because most of the time you can kind of just intuitively throw a net where the enemy team is to delay them.
No
Like this.
escape.
Like, oh, they're coming long, I'm going to throw a net long, right? And a lot of the time you're going to be playing on B because sonic sensors like this one, and the one long are all relatively strong. However, there is a pretty meta concept on this map of plant denial on the A site, where your players on your team will throw, like, nades or mollies to make sure that it takes as long as possible to get the spike down on A as possible. And this net is one you can throw while rotating that'll help them do that. So if you come in spawn as you're rotating and stand up against
there.
this wall segment right here, and then line that same right-hand side of the sonic sensor, left-hand bar, left-hand side of the bar with this section of the
Over
wall
there.
right here and do an instant jump throw.
Throwing net.
It will land and cover pretty much all of the default plant spots, which means if you, say, have a player playing bench or shower or something like that, and they can throw a piece of util to fight that, they pretty much get a free kill on the spike planter. So those are all the lineups I have for you on Bind today. Hopefully this guide has been helpful and will help you in your Premier and Ranked games. If this guide has been at all useful for you, I would appreciate it if you leave a like and subscribe. And leave a comment if you would like to see more content like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all later.